Welcome back to the Sane Society.
How's everyone out there?
For those who visit this the first time, they call me Youngblood because
Some people call me old school, so I call myself young blood. So,
yeah, just want to touch base. When I finish things I have to do and I look at the time, I say, oh man, I always do things right on time. That's the beauty of being in alignment. You really, the clock is only used to,
not guide you, but bear witness to your emotion.
in other words, you got things you want to do at certain times. Most people set an alarm. They tell the alarm clock to remind them of that time. But as you evolve and become more in alignment with nature, you become the alarm. Your own nature, it does it automatically once you are in alignment. Automatically you'll stop doing what you was doing and get ready for the next task. And you check your clock and see what time. Oh, this is the exact time I wanted to do this. I mean, it's amazing, the human condition.
As we evolve.
I'm going to just give a little commentary on what I've been reading to y'all on this book, The Sane Society. And I have given commentary as I read the book for those who are following this discussion.
Right now, I just put the book down and just go from my memory.
To relate some principles to you.
You know,
Eric Fromm, as a trained psychoanalyst in Germany,
he was taught by one of the most
prominent, prominent one of his day was Eric Fromm. Freud. And the one principle that Freud has was that everything of man striving to be himself, his disequilibrium with nature, his strive for equilibrium was based on sex, the libido. So this frustration of sexual energy is the cause of all his problems. I mean, that really put it on a very animalistic level. And from he gives the human point of view. He said, no, it's not because of sex that frustrate man. It's just the human nature. We're born into a system of development from our animal nature to our human nature. And when man has reached the point that he said, okay, now I think I got it all, then it's time for him to go. In other words, the whole process of life becomes one of being born. And
each has to master it at his own
level, his own way of living, so to speak. But it's all based on a human nature. Because we haven't been here before, and we have to understand what it means to be human. You know, and the mold that society has for us is contrary to being human. That's the basis of people going insane because they can't fit into the mold society has. They refuse to fit into it. And they don't have the strength to develop other means of coping. And I was just thinking about that because most places you go these days, you smell pot. People smoking weed. They're trying to cope. They're trying to cope. They're trying to cope. So this escape from reality. Well, what is reality? Maybe that's their reality. So this coping mechanism that he speaks of is escapism that has made man separate from himself. Society has become an enemy in a sense that it doesn't take him to develop his higher nature. This is something man has to do for himself. Society can be used as a guiding post of what not to do, depending on where he want to go. So we all are striving to be sane. That's what he says, and it's because we're living in a society that's forcing you to go against your human nature. In other words, insanity is the order of the day. As you develop and grow, you see this in everything that happens. They're trying to make normalize insanity. So as people develop and grow, they say, no, I ain't going for that. And they have other coping mechanisms. They don't have to go to games or TVs or movies or smoke pot, or they don't need these things to escape. They're able to find solace in other tasks. Some go teaching, some develop their artistic abilities, some are writers. These are things that the person has to learn for himself, how to express himself to maintain his sanity. And one footnote that he makes about the distractions that people love, he did an experiment in a classroom and took these students in an enclosed environment and told them, imagine yourself not being able to talk to anybody, not being able to watch TV or social media this day and time. Uh, no drinking, smoking, anything that you usually do as part of your daily living. And most people couldn't imagine that. They say some portion says, now you can go read the book for yourself, I'm just paraphrasing it. Part of the experiment said, well, we just wait till the experiment over with, because ain't nothing I can think I want to do. Other people said, well, I would get into uh, things that I always wanted to do by myself. I would read, I would do something to take away the boredness, because that's what killing most people these days. They do things out of being bored. The point is that only a small minority says, hey, that'd be great. I just love being by myself. Exploring the deeper consciousness of my mind. So this human nature and this evolvement that man has with himself is something that society does not endorse. You got to be a part of the in crowd. You got to fit in, you know. Anyway, that's the commentary on chapter 2, and that's what the book is really about. He gave a different point of view from the Freud's view of sex being the dominant factor of man's behavior. That sounds so stupid, don't it? Everything's around sex. Have a look at society. Society enforced that idea. Why do men buy new cars, flashy, women wear flashy clothes, all this to attract opposite sex? All sex is the opposite in a lot of times. So this man is a genius of his day, because he wrote so many books describing the psychological condition of man. And I like reading him because it goes against the grain of what, of what Freud taught. Yeah, sex is a part of human nature, just like eating and sleeping and protecting yourself. However, you can't make it the main thing. Come on. That's the animal life. He talks about that too, separating yourself from the animal life because the animals have sex, eat, and sleep. And we're much greater than that, so we have to have high aspirations. However, the culture does not enforce that idea.
In other words, when he says sane society, he making parallel, in my opinion.
To what the individual has to make, because the only comparison he has is an insane society. And just look around today at what you see going on.
At this level of development that this world is in.
Would you say this is sanity?
So the sanity, it cannot come from
Society. It has to come from within you. That's what I think the point he's making.
So,
Yeah, that's it. Hope you all enjoying your soulless, uh, your summer solstice day, and gasping that energy of this day. And I was so energetic today after sitting in the sun and doing the things I do for self-development. I had to come in and take a nap. Yeah, I was so energized, man. Let me take a nap. I can't do with all this energy. So I'm refreshed now, and thought I'd come on here because when I finished what I had to do, it was exactly 7 o'clock, and I gave myself a message. I said I'm gonna go online about 7 o'clock, and I didn't need an alarm clock to do that. Matter of fact, this happens all the time with me. I wake up the exact time I need to wake up.
so
I want to share with you. You want to develop your inner clock. You want to develop your inner abilities, your inner power. A lot of things in society limits you. If you got to always have a clock to remind you, man, you become like the Playvock experiment. When the bell rings, the dog starts salivating because they know it's time to eat. Is that why they have bells in schools to get you to operate with bells and whistles like animals? That's the point being made.
so is this setting
Of this end of this day, whatever intention you set, and I want y'all to have done these rituals that are ancestral in nature. These practices of these occasions of the solstice and full moon and practice. These are things our ancestors did thousands and thousands of years. So you have to be a part of this because it's part of alignment. As you align with nature, with the universe, you align with yourself.
in this getting?
The way society is, it wants you to be out of alignment. That's why this being the new moon, this is the beginning of the month, right? The new moon. But what day is it? It's the 20th.
That's not the beginning of the month. That's 10 days before the end of the month.
Even the months are wrong. 52 weeks in a year, right? Okay. Now they say each month has 4 weeks. How many weeks is that? That's 48.
So somebody stole a month from you.
By making them uneven, there's 13 months. There's not 12 months because 4 weeks times 13 months is 52 weeks. Stop trying to play with my brain. How are they going to be the same? How is 52 weeks going to be the same as 12 months times 4 weeks is 48? You see the trick? You see the games they play with your brain? So all these things will keep you out of alignment. And what we teach here at the Sane Society is how to get back in alignment with nature, with yourself. Okay, what we got in the chat? Anybody got some questions?
Okay.
Don't see nobody there yet. I said the best is yet to come. So the people who come later and hear the replay, I guess they got to be the best, who can appreciate what's going on.
Okay.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Until next time, this is Youngblood, the Sane Society.